CW.
It's really important to protect our kids and our community.
The Me Too campaign is now spreading to your church. A new social media hashtag is aiming to bring attention to sexual assaults in religious communities. It's called #Church2. And people are speaking out about their experiences. But an area church is working to prevent these incidents before they even happen. Tonight, Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer takes a look at this campaign and how churches are reacting.
Twitter is at it again. Except this time, users are hoping to raise awareness on what they call a hidden crime. It's sexual assault at church. And the numbers show that people between the ages of 12 and 34 are at the highest risk of being raped or sexually assaulted.
85% of the people who do abuse are actually known by the victim, knows the perpetrator. And so we tend to think, well, it won't happen here because we know everybody, but it's not the case.
We tried contacting a rash of churches in the FM area. Many of them didn't want to talk. They say it's a tricky subject. But at Bethel Church in Fargo, staff members work hard to ensure no incidents like these happen.
We do background checks on the volunteers and references, application process, interview, things like that. For our staff, we actually have training on how to recognize abuse and not put themselves in a position where that might happen.
We spoke with the Catholic Diocese of Fargo. Director of Communications Paul Braun says they have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to any form of sexual assault. He says that they deal with any cases harshly and swiftly. Although there have been situations in the past at Catholic churches, Braun says they work hard to maintain a safe environment for all who worship here. In Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
The most recent sexual assault-related incident in a church we could find was from this past spring. Father Thomas Feltman of St. John the Baptist Catholic Church in Richland County was placed on administrative leave for alleged conduct with kids. No criminal charges were ever filed. To view the Catholic Diocese of Fargo's official policies, head over to our website at valleynewslive.com. Coming up after weather, a 19-year-old Fargo man led police on a multi-state chase that ended with a rollover crash. Plus, Fargo school superintendent is retiring. We speak with him one-on-one in just a few moments. But first, Robert, most of our day was gusty with those high winds, but it seems as though it's calmed down pretty significantly since then. Is that right?
Yeah, quiet conditions out there for now, but those winds will start to crank up again as we head towards tomorrow morning out of the south, bringing in some warmer air. Live look outside on the CorwinAuto.com Valley Skycam, part of the Storm Team Skycam network. Traffic moving along nicely along I-94 as we look over the river towards Moorhead. Current temperature, we've dipped down to 23. Winds are calm, but they'll start shifting around to the south here in the next couple of hours. Moorhead, a couple degrees warmer at 25. It's cold across the north. 16 in Langdon, Roseau, Baudette, and in Bemidji, 19 Cavalier and Thiefero Falls. Thankfully, the winds much lighter than they were earlier today, but enough to create some cold wind chills out there, as cold as 5 in Langdon and 9 in Bemidji. Cloud cover, not a whole lot of it out there. A few high clouds streaming in from the west, and we'll see a bit of high cloudiness, especially across the northern half of the valley as we head through the overnight hours. Underneath what clouds we do have, no precipitation, none anticipated tonight or the first half of tomorrow, but later in the day, maybe a little bit of precip. We'll show you that in the hour-by-hour forecast. But right now, the northern plains, quiet out towards the west. Some lower elevation rains, some higher elevation snows, some showers, and even a couple of rumbles of thunder in parts of south central Kansas and north central Oklahoma. A little bit of rain making its way through the Great Lakes and a few showers and storms down along Florida's coast. For us, overnight tonight, we'll start to see temperatures slowly rise as we head towards tomorrow morning with some southerly winds out there and some high clouds, again, across the northern portions of the valley. We'll start to see more cloudiness as the day wears on, and as a cool front approaches, we'll see a chance for a few showers of rain, possibly mixed with changing to snow as some cooler air makes its way on in later on tomorrow evening. After some high temperatures in the 30s, 40s, and even some low 50s, we'll start to cool it back down into the 30s across much of the area. Here in Fargo, we'll start off in the upper 20s, maybe a touch warmer than that, depending on those southerly winds overnight tonight. By lunchtime, it's going to be warmer but windy. Temperatures in the low 40s. And later on the day, we're going to top it out in the low 50s. Record high for Fargo tomorrow is 51. So if we get there, that will tie yet another record. Picture of the day out of Carrington. A fiery sunset there. Thanks so much to Kurt for sending that in. Going to use that as the backdrop to our 7-day forecast tomorrow. Windy and warmer, a slight chance for a few rain and snow showers, especially across the northern half of the valley. A touch cooler on Thursday, but lots of sunshine Friday. A few rain and snow showers again, mainly north. Weekend looking good. Saturday looking good anyway. Sunday looking great. But then wintry type weather returns Monday and Tuesday with more seasonable temperatures and perhaps a few flakes of snow.
But as long as I don't see any negatives.
No negatives. Let's not even talk about that. Let's try and avoid that all year.
All right, let's do it. Thanks, Robert.
You got it.
New for you now at 9. A Fargo man will likely be facing charges after leading police on a chase for more than 120 miles from Montana into North Dakota. Authorities say it started in Montana about 120 miles from the North Dakota border. They tried using spike strips multiple times, but the driver avoided them. The chase ended in Golden Valley County, North Dakota. That's when the driver lost control and then rolled the car. Authorities say the driver, 19-year-old Joshua Trickler, was hurt in the crash, and he did have to be taken to the hospital for treatment. They did not release any information about the extent of his injuries, but they do say the incident is under investigation. Also new for you now at 9, new developments in a murder investigation in northern Minnesota. The Cass County Sheriff's Office of Minnesota says they've located 3 people of interest after a murder in Cass Lake. Authorities say Anthony LaRose, Sarah LaRose, and Elisha Gwynn are now cooperating with authorities in the investigation. 24-year-old Brandon Roy was arrested and charged with unintentional murder and robbery after police say he shot and killed a woman in a drug-fueled robbery.
It's a bittersweet action we just took. I don't think anybody on this board wanted to lose Dr. Schatz this early to retirement, but I'm happy for him.
Developing tonight, Fargo schools will be getting a new superintendent for the next school year. Dr. Jeff Schatz announced his retirement after 32 years in education.
How are you feeling today?
Very good.
You're feeling good?
Yeah. I think it's time for me to step back and to just look to the future and see if there's some other things that I might want to pursue. I've done everything I can, I think, in this system. Feel good about where we're at as a district. It's just the right time, and the reason why now is so the board has plenty of time to be able to find a replacement.
School Board President Jim Johnson says they're hoping to have final candidates by February 8th. If not by then, an interim superintendent will be selected. A statewide effort is in the works to get rid of lunch shaming in Minnesota. An incident recently happened in Stewartsville, Minnesota school, sparking outrage among parents and lawmakers. Legislator Sarah Anderson says it shouldn't have happened in the first place, and it violated the law.
Because of the law change in 2014, it should have made it clear to them that they shouldn't be doing any of this branding. Honestly, it's really kind of shocking to me, considering the work that was done in this, that we actually have to outline this for folks, that they don't understand what demeaning and stigmatizing children.
The issue prompted one Stewartville mother to create a GoFundMe page in order to raise school lunch money that's already raised nearly $10,000. To find the GoFundMe page, and if you want to see the whole story, head on over to our website at valleynewslive.com. A man charged in an international fentanyl trafficking operation that led to the overdose death of a North Dakota man is now accused of ordering other defendants to keep quiet. Daniel Vivas Sarion, a Colombian international who allegedly ran from the Enterprise from a Canadian prison, pleaded not guilty to obstruction of justice in Fargo on Tuesday. An indictment says he wrote letters telling co-conspirators to remain silent and alerting other suspects about the investigation. Vivas Sarion was charged earlier with 5 counts, including aiding in the distribution of fentanyl that resulted in the January 2015 death of 18-year-old Bailey Henke of Grand Forks. There are some surprising stats regarding drugs on campus in the wake of 60 pounds of pot being pulled from 2 UND students. This is the neighborhood where the 2 students were arrested with around $330,000 worth of marijuana. On campus, drug offenses dropped dramatically this year compared to last. UND police say this year there have been around 150 drug offenses. At the same time last year, around 250, but most of those for possession and paraphernalia. Still, neighbors are shocked that such a big bust could be in such a quiet neighborhood.
I never met them personally, but to me they were normal college students, nice guys. Never had a problem with them. They were just in and out, never any loud parties or anything.
Both men are facing felony charges. Their next court appearance is January 3rd. It's time now for our weekly segment of Restaurant Report Card. And this week, the Clean Plate Award goes to a local coffee shop. It's Red River Coffee Company. It's taking home gold this week. That's because they haven't seen any health code violations or citations in a pretty long time. The business is dedicated to maintaining a clean kitchen.
We clean and sanitize all day long and rotate food and check dates and make sure that everything is at its peak freshness and highest quality possible.
Jessica says they make everything from scratch while also keeping an A-plus kitchen. They plan to keep the following and keeping those same guidelines and serving fresh food. North Korea fires its most successful missile launch to date, capable of hitting the continental U.S. That's still ahead tonight.